It's time for the Mage, and this archetype is particularly special to me, because in any game, that being Dark Souls, World of Warcraft, Diablo, no matter how much I try to put my mind towards a heavy hitter dude, plate armor or whatever, I somehow always tend to end up as a glass cannon, magical, elemental, spell casting kind of guy. So Mage, that's my archetype most likely. Anyways, if you see something you like, hit the thumbs up button, it helps a lot. My name is Christian, and welcome to the Lazy Tavern. Let's do Mage. In Ashes of Creation, the Mage is the archetype who connects with its surrounding, drawing energy from everything around them, making use of the elements to perform powerful spells. The Mage can draw energy from air, fire, water, or electrical sources. The power of these sources may vary slightly with weather and seasons. As an example, lightning might be stronger in the rain. I'm looking forward exactly how they plan to implement this. I'm a bit cautious if they make it too strong, but we'll see. An observation from my side is that the Mage is less of a classic caster as we might know from other MMOs, where you expect to cast at all time. Instead, it's expected to weave between your abilities and your weapon, effectively using the weapon of your choice to perform powerful weapon combo finishes while waiting for your cooldowns. Personally, I'd fear I'd miss the ability to go full in on continuous caster build, but we'll see what will be possible in the later stages. The Mage archetype has been used a lot during the showcases. However, to me they seem not finished. Only few of the element has been shown to its full potential, and the variety of combos from elementals seems too thin at this point. I'll get into these combos in a minute. So when Steven during the Alpha 2 announcement said the following.
It is a good read, I think. I think that is a good read. I would include Mage in the tank and cleric part of this question. I think it's tank, cleric, and Mage is currently on the docket for the PC team, the player character team, to kind of revamp, to bring up to par.
I was super pleased about that statement. The Mage will be a damage dealer, and instead of jumping straight to the offensive abilities, I'd like to start out with the unique feature of the Mage, which will be the elemental empowerment. This empowerment will make it so that your abilities, as well as your finishers in the weapon combo, adds a stack of the element you were last using as a spell. As you see from the description on elemental power, it can synergize with various cooldowns, resulting in some interesting combos with your abilities. Further, some of your spells have added effect while targeting an enemy affected by a certain element. Very cool. And now let's get started with the offensive abilities. First one is Arcane Volley, which shoots 7 missiles at the target. Effective due to the short cast time, and it synergy really well with the shocked status effect, which applies extra damage with each individual hit. Next one is Chain Lightning, which is a heavy hitter charge ability that can hit up to 5 nearby enemies. This ability has some built-in mechanics, as doing extra damage if the target is already shocked, or if the target is staggered, it will trigger the ability twice. Ouch. Next in the line is the Lightning Strike, which is a held ability that does more damage the longer it's charged. Straightforward, cool looking ability, I like it. Sadly, there is no gameplay of the combust, but it's an instant ability that deals some damage, and if the target is burning, applies conflagrating. Very little info on this status effect, so I assume it will be something badass. Fireball is the next fire spell, which shoots a small fireball at the target, causing burning. Apparently, it has 3 charges, but in the footage, it appears that all charges is consumed upon cast. Might be a fault at that time, but if it's 3 individual charges, it would be nice. Moving to the Frost ability, we have a heavy hitter, which requires you to charge for about 2 seconds. The ability will apply chill to the target, and if it's already chilled, instead apply frozen, which hinders the enemy to move. Prismatic Beam is a beam attack that ticks for magical damage, which is based upon the Mage's own elemental power. Either a chance to apply burn, chilled, or volatile. If the elemental power were toggled so you are currently not under empowerment, you will drain some of the mana per target hit and return a large portion back. With Prismatic being a beam attack, we move over to the offensive AOE abilities. First one is Ball of Lightning, which will attack rapidly, applying a lot of volatile stacks. However, this ball moves so slow. I don't know if you're familiar with the Frozen Orb ability from World of Warcraft, but this ability were so painful if you were forced to have it within your rotation. So to see the Ball of Lightning, which is so close to this ability, hurts me a lot, especially when they have made it look this cool. Imagine in a PvP scenario, you cast this ability, most melee will just look at the ball like, what? Move around and go at you. It might cause a zone, but I'm very skeptical about this one. Same more or less applies for the next one called Magma Field. We know that skill choices will have to be meaningful, so spending a point on this ability that is this small is just not appealing to me at least. I can't think of a lot of use cases in neither PvE or PvP. Next is Meteor, which we haven't really seen a lot about since early in Alpha 1. However, this is to me a more acceptable size, so I hope to see this back again. Next is the Standard Blizzard, where you let a freezing spike fall down upon your enemies. However, it's cast on your location, which seems tricky to me. Almost never do I, as a traditional caster, like to be this close to anyone. I need my personal space, you know. Feature, or however it's pronounced, I suspect is some sort of doom button. It is in most mages' action bar. However, I haven't seen it used once. Tooltip states it's just a line of some earth spike, so we'll see. Moving over to the mobility and utility for the mages. They don't actually have as many as I would have suspected. Anyways, let's get started. In order to ever survive that close range blizzard, the first we'll see is traditional shield or barrier, in this case called Shell. It absorbs some damage and that's pretty much it. Next is Cone of Cold, which is an offensive ability. However, I put it here because it provides you a bit of zone to kite around, which apply chilled status effect and make a good follow-up for Frostbolt. Next ability is what will make mages gold. Arcane Eye. You can buff yourself and allies to give true sight, making you see rogues. And for this reason alone, I'll most likely end up playing mages. Anyways, it seems like Intrepid should buff this ability, because we haven't really seen the rogue yet. As goes for movement, Mage will have a blink, which is a quick dash that teleports you in the direction you're moving. Great tool to make some distance. Mage will have a CC called Slumber, which puts the target to sleep. This sleep breaks upon damage, unless damage from the bard special ability. So next up is the cooldown. The mages will have two primarily cooldowns, none of which we really have seen yet, so let's see. The first one is the Arcane Circle, which places a circle beneath you, granting you increased damage while inside the circle. I do like this approach, where you sort of like create a sort of power zone for your next few seconds. And then there is Arcane Empowerment. This ability boosts your casting speed significantly based upon how many spells you previously casted, up to a certain maximum. Cool thing, however, to me there is so few actual cast in the Mage's kit currently, so we'll see how effective it will be. While I as usual put on a small montage, consider subscribing and smash that like button. And if you, like me, have some comments about the Mage's abilities and how they are intended to work, then leave a comment down below. The devs has been really good at picking up whatever we are putting out there, so don't hesitate. Anyways, fill up your wine glass and enjoy. I hope you enjoyed the overview of the Mage. Stay tuned for the next in the series of Let's Do. Thanks for watching, and see you again at the Lazy Tavern.